Hey there, welcome back. So in this video we're going to look at how to edit a category that already exists in our table, and that will, if I go to our sitemap, require us to make 4 pages. We're going to be first of all selecting the category we want to update. We're going to actually make the change on a form. It'll be a text field that displays the current information, and then you can make changes to it. You then submit that form and it will go to a confirmation page where you can either go directly back or proceed on where it actually does update the record in the database. So I'll split this tutorial into 2 parts because it is quite a lengthy and complex process. So before I begin, I just want to fix up this database. It's bugging me too much that I deleted stuff from it. So oops, wrong place. If I go to here, I'm just going to drop the stock table, and fortunately I can import the SQL from my assets folder, which is amongst the files that you have got access to. They're in the Dropbox, and you can see the link below the video. So that has just recreated the stock table, and the category table. I'll just remove that new cat, and I'm just going to go ahead and insert as ID3 pants. You certainly don't have to do that, it was just bugging me. So now if I come back in here and I refresh this, there we go, thank goodness. So here we are on my admin panel. I'm just going to create a link to our first page. So here we are. I'm going to go to index.php, and I'm going to call the page edit category select, and the text is going to be edit category. There we go, end of link, end of paragraph. Let's do a quick double check. There it is, great. Then I need to create that page, so rather than retyping everything from the beginning, I'm just going to open up the add category page and just go save as, and I'm just going to call that one edit category select. We don't need any information in here just on the update stuff, and we don't need that form at the moment, so just change the heading to edit. Okay, so we are ready to run a query that returns all of the categories in our category table. Now if you're one of my students, this would be an excellent time to pause the video, have a go at writing that code and testing it, and then watching the rest of the video just to see how you got on. So pause now, or not if you're still listening, and continue. So I'm going to call this edit cat as my variable, and the first step is the SQL itself, so that's just going to be selecting everything from the category table. The second step, as always, is to run it, so I'm going to call that edit cat query, and MySQLi query, which has 2 parameters, dbconnect, which is their database connection string, and also the query itself, which is on the previous line. And the third step is to run it and put the results into an associative array. There we are. And the stuff that we're organising is that edit cat query from the previous line. Okay, there's our 3 steps. I hope my students could do that. Next thing then is down here underneath our heading, we're just going to run a loop that displays all of them. So I'm going to use a do while loop. So here we are. And the while condition is actually just that 3rd line less the semicolon. So it looks a bit like that. So that should loop through as many times as we have categories. Now I want to format that content in between that loop, so I'm just going to stop the PHP temporarily there and restart it down the bottom, and in between I'm just going to have a paragraph for each one, so they will go on different lines, and each will be a link that goes to the same page, and that page is going to be called edit category. Now the text that gets displayed, so we can see it, it needs to be the name of the category, and we need to use PHP. Remember that information is stored in our associative array, edit cat, so I'm going to echo from the edit cat records there the name. And remember, it's called name because in our database the category table has a column called name. That's the information we want. Okay. Also, when this goes through, we need it to the next page to know which category we have selected. So we're going to need to send that information through, and I'm going to do that in the get array using the get method. So that's, here it is here. So after the page equals, I'm just going to put and category ID equals. And remember, that information is also stored in this associative array. So we're just going to echo that out. Edit cat underscore rs category ID. There we go. Okay, so we'll just test that now. So when I go edit category, I can click on skirts, and you see that's gone to the edit category page, and it has taken the correct category ID through. If I do pants, it's 3. Okay, so let's create the edit category page, which will have a form that displays the existing name of the category. Now, to save myself retyping a lot of this, I am just going to save over this. So I just go File, Save As, save a copy, and I'm just going to save it as edit category. Now, the good thing is we can reuse a lot of this code. So we're still selecting all the information about this category, but it's only going to be where category ID equals, and then after here it's what was sent through in the get method. Alright, so that will only retrieve that one particular thing, and we don't need a loop down the bottom, so we can remove that code. What we do need is a form, and that is going to have an action that sends us through to a page called edit category confirm. And again, I know I'm giving these very long-winded names, but I'm just sort of giving it the same almost prefix at the start so that they all sit next to each other in my file manager, so it's easy for me to find them. And also the method here is post. Close that form down. So we've got a normal text input, so I'm just going to give that a name of name, and that's obviously just matches the column heading in the database. And the initial value, now this is going to be an interesting one here, because the initial value may not actually be the one that's in the database, which is what this is getting. So I'm just going to put speech marks there for now and close that down. And then we also need a submit button, which I'm just going to call update, and I'm actually going to give it a value of update too. So that's the text that will appear on the button itself. Okay. Now the value stuff is a little bit complicated, so you just have to bear with me in my explanation here. The first time we come to this page, this query is going to run, and we want whatever the name of the category is to be displayed here in our code, right where the value is. However, if we then make a change and submit this form, but realize we've made a mistake and we come back to this page, we don't want this code to rerun. We want the stuff that the changes that we've made to still be there, so that we can make the second change or whatever we're doing. So there's a little bit more complexity. You've got to sort of, I guess, think logically. What does it all mean? Now, I'm going to use sessions so I can pass information back and forth. Now, basically, I'm going to, in that value there, I'm going to echo the session. I'm going to create a session which is called edit category, good logical name, and it's going to have two parts to it, name and category ID. So that's the name part. Now that's what's going to be displayed there. Now, the first time we come here and run this, when we actually run this query, we're going to set that session, edit category session, and the name part of it, we're going to set that to equal edit cat rs name. So that's the the actual name of the category that is sitting in our edit cat array. Okay. So the first time we come there, it's going to run this query, it's going to get the name, and it's not only just going to get the name, it's going to also put it into that session, which then we display it in here. But what about when we're returning from the confirmation page? Now in that case, this session will already have been set, so we don't need to run this query. So just before the query, we're going to put a little if statement in that says if the following thing is not set, so, and that's category, I'll get this right, name. So if that's not set, then we are going to run that stuff, that code there. If I can indent that all in one go. Brilliant. Okay, so if it's not set, we're going to do that. Okay, and that's actually pretty much what all we need to do there, because if it is already set, it already has a value, which means we've already been through this, so we don't need to worry about it. Okay, so that logic there should be fairly sound. The other thing we probably need to do is when we first come through here, we're just going to set that edit category session. We're going to also have a second part to it called category ID, and we're just going to set that one to the get method, which is that category ID thing. And that just means that we can carry this category ID around with us for a few more pages, so when we actually do the update, it will update the appropriate record. Okay. So let's just test that and see how we're getting on. So here, if I click on skirts, for some reason it's doing that. Oh, that's right, I've already been here before, haven't I? So if I go to dresses, oh, it's refusing. What am I done here? Hang on a second. Ah, that's right, yeah, I was when I was preparing for this video, actually I'd already run through it, so I'm just going to have to unset that session for a second. So I'll just pause this really quick, hang on. Okay, right, that should now be unset. Sorry about that. There we go, skirts. If I come back and choose dresses, it refuses to because hang on, let's just edit category. Yeah, okay, it's because we're not unsetting that. So what we probably need to do is have a bit of code in here that unsets it. So I'm just going to put this on my admin panel page just for the time being. We can remove this anytime we like. Oopsie. I'm just going to unset that session called edit category. That's everything I need. Yep. Okay. So if I go back to my admin page now, when I come through here, yeah, it's unsetting it. Great. Admin, edit category. Great. Okay, so I've got that working. It's a little bit difficult because we're sort of part way through the tutorial and I'm stopping it. But what we'll do next time now is when we click on update, it's going to go to this confirm page and it's going to send through whatever information or changes that we've made in here, and it's actually going to reallocate that change stuff to that session. So then if we came back to here, the updated thing would appear. So that's what's coming next. I apologise, this one was a bit fumbly, but we'll get there. So I'll see you next time.